Hello there, I'm hoping you enjoy this video. Little bit clickbaity, I know, with the better than Seiko comment in the thumbnail, but I've said that for two reasons. One, obviously a bit clickbaity, get you to come and check the video out. Thanks for coming. But the other thing is, objectively, this watch is better than Seiko, especially when you consider the price. And even more so with the fact that this month in September, Phoibos are doing a discount on their watches. So click on the links, you get $75, 75 euros off of many of their watches, including the watch in today's video. So if you like what I say about this watch in the video, do check it out. But you're going to need to know more, aren't you? So let's get on with it. Now, before we begin chatting about this bad boy, here are the stats and specs. Let's fly through those. Now, from my time with this lovely watch, I must start with a few criticism because no watch is perfect, of course, and this is a review and you need to know what I think. Personally, are things that this have let me down a little bit in my opinion, so let's get on with those. First of all, it is quite heavy. I've had the links taken out for it to fit my average wrist and it still weighs over 160 grams. That is quite weighty, so you definitely notice on your wrist, and the weight is quite heavily orientated around the body of the watch. It's quite a chunky monkey. It feels top heavy. Weight distribution therefore is not that great. So first thing, top heavy. I do like things top heavy in other situations in life, but not with my watches. This is purely a personal thing. I'm not 100% a fan of double crowns, compressor style cases. I just think when you hold it this way around, it looks a little bit like Shrek. Prefer fiddling with a clicky, rotatey bezel. Something very tactile about that, and I get very nerdy about that. And if this is a dive watch, which something that states to have 200 meters of water resistance, as it says here, 200 meters, loads of gaskets, screw down elements everywhere. It's a company that prides itself mainly, almost entirely, on dive watches. There's one fatal flaw, in my opinion, if you're going to have what I would call a dive watch: a quick diver's extension. If you pop this over a wetsuit, you can't do that on this. It's literally, you set it, and if you want to readjust it, you have got micro adjust holes here, but only 3 of them. You've got space for more. I don't know why they didn't do more. Probably put another, at least 2 in there. There's plenty of room for it. But there's no quick adjust and there's no extension. So it's not practical as a dive watch. This would be good for snorkeling, where you don't have to put anything else on your body that this would need to fit over. For me, that's a letdown. Now, this could be sounding a little harsh. Is this a lazy release? Lazy as in, this watch pre-existed a number of years ago. I reviewed the original one they did. I did like it then. I said pretty much very similar things as to what I am saying in this review, but lazy as in what they have changed is simply the dial colour offerings. That's all I can gather from this release. That's just a bit lazy. No other changes. They could have made it slimmer. They could have put a Miyota 9000 in. They could have done lots of different things, but they did nothing. They just put a different dial colour option, which will be discussed in the positives. Another thing which I find as a dislike, I'm disliking maybe the watch community. I'm not criticising you lovely people watching this, but I don't think Phoibos are as popular as they should be. That disappoints me. I dislike disappointment, therefore it's a dislike. Phoibos should be more popular than they are. They make incredible watches, but I dislike that people maybe find them a bit too weird, and I just think people should be a bit more adventurous. People get all excited about plastic watches made by Swatch and queue round the blocks for miles for overpriced watches made out of bioceramic, for example, and are very light and flimsy and quite garish, some of them. Why aren't people getting excited about these unusual, quirky, fun watches that are beautifully made, better quality in every considerable way, etc, etc? Next thing is dive watch. Be nice at around this price for them to include quick release of this bracelet and include a lovely rubber strap, because not everyone wants to wear a bracelet when they're swimming. There's something very nice about putting a rubber strap on. Very quick and easy to pop the watch on and make quick and minute adjustments with a strap like that. It would be good maybe to solve the whole micro adjust problem with the clasp to include a rubber strap. I think just for this colorway, the word automatic here, where it says there in red, clashes with this yellow dial. Looks just a little bit washed out. clashes ever so slightly. That's just my opinion. Next thing, getting rather dull now. As ever reliable and well running as NH35s generally are, Seiko movement, they are mass produced, very well made movements, very reliable. But for me, ever so slightly boring and add a bit of chunk to a lot of watches. This price point, maybe a little bit more, and I have used it in other watches. I would love it if they used the 9000 movement and made this considerably slimmer. Now that I've spent quite a long time complaining about this watch, I don't want you to think I dislike it, because there are positives. I want to be as fair as possible. I'm always fair in my reviews, and that's why we're going to move on to those likes. I love this new array of colours they've released. Not just this pastel yellow, to a minty green, a blue. Fabulous. Really nice colour options, really on trend. It's vibrant, adds some interest to the range, and I think people like bright colours. If you're going to collect watches, it's nice to have more options other than your neutral, monotone colours always sitting there in your watch box. To have something with this kind of neo-vintage colour themes is exciting. The build quality of Phoibos watches is outstanding. I've never had a bad one. The brushing is impeccable. I've said it before, some of the best brushing I've seen. It's well up there, on par with very, very good Swiss watches. And I'm not over exaggerating. The case brushing on this is the same as my Omega. It literally is. The polished elements, the contrast between this part and the sides and the top of the lugs is perfect. It's faultless. The knurling on these crowns, impeccable. Lovely detailing on the crowns as well. The Phoibos kraken on there. The screwing in and out of these crowns is so smooth. A lovely little pop when you undo it. Really easy to bite and wind back in again. All these little elements add up to that feel of quality. The feel of this bezel as it rotates. Super smooth. There's no clicking or whirring or grinding or anything sort in there. It's just a buttery smooth feeling as you turn this crown. This lovely rotating inner bezel here is really nice. And it looks like they've made this inner one of ceramic. They didn't need to, because it doesn't need to have that scratch resistance, but I think it's just to have that gloss effect. And I just like that attention to detail. The finishing of the hands, the indices, the dial, the many coats of AR coating on this double dome sapphire crystal, this coin edge bezel, everything has been executed to an extremely high standard, as has this beautiful case back. Very well made. Solid end links that fit faultlessly inside the case. The very neatly crafted milled clasp, really nicely done. Plain but clear and well etched Phoibos logo on there. Double pushers here to open this clasp. It's just really nice. It's not rattly at all. The screw pins, when I sized this up, came in and out perfectly. It was really smooth and easy. No grindy, no thready bits. It was no snarly, gnarly bits where sometimes when they do screw pins, you can have tiny bits of material and swarf on there. So when you try and screw and unscrew, it's a bit gritty. That was buttery smooth. All the elements of this bracelet, very well executed. The polished and brushed elements. Again, the brushing, incredible. You're going to really get the gist here. What I'm saying is, it's bloody well made. And then we go on to the loom. I have done a time lapse. I'll try not to bore you with it going on for the rest of time, but I got bored myself. I ran my camera for 15 minutes to see how good the loom was after 15. The average dive's about 20 minutes apparently. My mum used to do diving and said that's about how long you may or may not stay down for. So if you want your watch to be legible for an appropriate period of time for when the light dims, this will not let you down. 15 layers of BGW9, gorgeous blue hue, holds its charge. If loom's your thing, Phoibos, I've got you covered. I like this neo-vintage. What do I mean by neo-vintage? New and vintage elements combined together. New as in you've got ceramic and domed sapphire and bright blue loom and lots of polishing and knurling and things like that in unusual ways compared to how they used to be. It's a lot of interesting elements dancing together to create this interesting and weird looking watch. Compressor case, coin edge bezel, pastel dial, really lovely and weird mix that go together, and I think it harmonises together and they've nailed it very well. And lastly, being the colours of the channel are yellow and black, I am just drawn to the yellow and black combination we've got here. I love the fact that what they've done with these pastel dials is surrounding the indices and the colour of the hands being black is gorgeous. It makes it super legible. It looks like it's been thought through really well, and it just makes it feel more cohesive with the more simple colours on here. It looks nice to have a black surround to the date wheel. So if you are watching this video in September 2023, this is the right time for you to go and buy one. If you really like this review and you like the look of the watch, click on the links in the description. There is a deal at the moment where you can get €75 off or $75 off, and that's just through this month of September 2023. So that's a fantastic saving on this watch. So Phoibos have asked me to just mention that. So here you go. Hope you've enjoyed this video. I have hopefully described why I think it is better than Seiko objectively. I've been as fair as possible. If you disagree, pop a comment and just let me know what your thoughts are. Am I completely mad? You know, separate from watches I am, but to do with watches, have I made some valid points? And if you like my kind of content, subscribing would be hugely appreciated. Let's get this channel to 15,000 before Christmas. Hopefully we'll do it. I'm pretty sure we will. Why not 20,000? Happy days. See you in the next one. Bye for now.